Hey you, come over and speculate with us. Have you ever seen a sudden shape or movement out of the corner of your eye? Have you ever felt a sudden cold chill wrap around you like an old wet blanket? Then my sleepy speculators, you may have been visited by a ghost. We all have our different opinions on after we die. Some say we just wink out, that the energy in our own bodies just dissipates. Others say we go to what people call heaven or hell, depending on what kind of life you lived. Others truly believe that our souls, our energy, can get trapped here, stuck in limbo, trying desperately to convey a message or doomed to repeat the same actions in death as we did in life. I would at this time like to share a story with you, one that I remember as a child that took place in the mountains of my childhood. The story begins with hunters who, on a long, exhausted hunt, stumbled upon a long, forgotten cabin in the woods. The cabin was not in great shape, but it provided a roof overhead and at least walls to keep the little bit of autumn chill from their bones. Once inside the cabin, they could see that it had not been used for quite some time. The floors were wooden and dusty. The cabin did have a small fireplace that the hunters thought they could use for a small fire. As the sun dipped down behind the mountains, the hunters had built a small fire and removed their boots to relax a little, sitting in front of the makeshift fire. One hunter had even emptied his pockets out beside him to make himself feel more comfortable. That is when it happened. The noise of something to his left, a movement slow and with a scratching noise. To the hunter's amazement, they watched as the hunter's keys that was in among the items removed from his pocket started to slide towards a knothole in the floorboard. Before they could act, the keys disappeared down into the hole. Now, most of us speculators would have freaked out, perhaps even fainted, but not grown manly hunters. They went straight to the hole and peered down into the blackness and saw nothing, heard nothing. The sun had already dipped down from the horizon, and evening had become night, and still, oddly still. The hunters tried to use a flashlight they had brought along to pierce the darkness of the hole, but it was almost like it had sorbed the light. They both knew that was impossible, but here it was. The one hunter knew he had to have his keys, so they made their way outside to look for any entrance to underneath the house. The hunters went outside. His flashlight bobbed around on the ground till he saw an opening to be able to crawl underneath the cabin. The entrance was covered in cobwebs, and as he entered, he could smell the old musty smell of old dirt and mildew as he inched along. Just enough space to be on his elbow and knees. He could see a faint glint coming from where he thought the hole must be. Slowly but surely, he got closer to this glint of light, and it started to shine even more. As his flashlight beam got closer, it started to flicker. Then it went out. But before him was a vision he will never forget. Shining brightly in a skeletal hand was his keys. A long forgotten body had been buried right below the knothole. Was it a murder? Was it that someone had built a cabin over a long forgotten cemetery? Whatever the case, the spirit wanted its body to be found. How many times had it done the same thing to someone in the cabin, only for them to run away? This story I leave with my sleepy speculators to ponder over the idea of what happens to our souls, our energy when our body is gone. And as always, keep watching the void and make sure you do not fall in.